And that can seem a little off-putting. Have either one of you done cold showers before? Is that something that you've tried?
I did a long time ago, but now.
Why would we take a cold shower?
Yeah.
When you age, it looks like.
Yeah. So the cold shower, and this is something that I love talking about, because often we'll think, oh, cold shower, there's no way I want to replace my warm shower, especially like you said, with age or season. It doesn't feel cozy. It doesn't feel like I'm getting clean in that way. I can't wash my hair during a cold shower, all those things. And so we really want to think about it as just a hydrotherapy part. So it's just a couple of minutes, like 3 to 5 minutes, not even very long. And if it's your first time doing it or you haven't done it in a long time, you can even start with less than that, like even 30 seconds, just creating that relationship with what it does for you. And the benefits are absolutely phenomenal. As we rest overnight, all of our organs really do their own cleansing process every evening while we sleep. And so they work on pulling those toxins right up to the very, very edge of that organ. And when we do a cold shower first thing in the morning, after doing our dry brushing and after our Abhyanga massage, we get in that cold water. And what happens is this kind of natural fight or flight shock response, which means the blood is going to go to those organs to protect them. It's going to pull all of those toxins that are right there ready. I like to think of like the blood is the bus driver and they're just picking everybody up on the bus, and then they just pull right out as the blood circulates and goes out. So it's one of the easiest ways to pull all those toxins out. So just like we brush our teeth, we scrape our tongue, we do all that stuff, we also want to get that stuff out of our body and moving it out. So the hydrotherapy is the best way to do that in the morning. And it's quick. And after a little bit, I'm not going to say it feels warm. I will tell you that it doesn't necessarily feel cold anymore. I don't like to make promises that aren't true. I don't feel like it's warm, but it's no longer horrifyingly cold feeling. It actually feels invigorating and stimulating. And I just do a couple of circles around one way and then the other way, making sure I get everywhere, making sure I get my face, stimulate the third eye. I don't get my hair wet during it. And then I get out and just pat myself dry and get into my meditation and do my morning yoga, do all of that, and then have some nourishment. And then later, if I need, before I start my day, that's when I do a warm shower to get clean with some soap where I need it. And if I need to wash my hair, that's when I do that, is later on in the day. So you want to start thinking about cold showers as hydrotherapy, not as a get clean shower. I think that's a much better way to think about them, to have a relationship with them.
So I'll jump in for a second. What SatJiwan is describing is you'll do these practices internally and externally as part of a cleanse. So there's these beautiful traditional Ayurvedic practices which she'll teach us through her manual that you'll get. I'm enjoying really spending a lot of time in this manual. It's so comprehensive. So you're really prepared to have a good cleanse. And then there's the whole food portion of the 4-day cleanse. So you kind of set aside these special little days for yourself, like a 4-day spa. And you make the time to do all this lovely self-care. And so there's some morning practices, some evening practices. You're cooking for yourself. It's very rejuvenating, very loving. It's not a depriving or deprivation cleanse, which a lot of people think a cleanse is, right?
Yeah.
No, Ayurvedic cleanses are so rejuvenating. You're glowing after the 4 days.
Absolutely. And you eat on this. We want the fiber in the body so that we can eliminate easily. So it's encouraged that you eat the amount that nurtures you. Like, everyone's different, right? Some people need 3 meals a day. Some people need 2 meals a day. Some people go great with 1 and then a lot of hydration and things. So I work with you individually, to figure out what you're already doing that actually works just beautifully into a cleansing routine, or the things that you're looking at that you'd like to put a little more emphasis on. Sometimes people don't drink enough water, aren't hydrated enough. So we look at that for you. Sometimes we're eating too much or at a time that doesn't serve us. And so we look at that. And it's a group cleanse, meaning that we're all doing this at the same time, and we get that wonderful group energy. And we have a couple of times that we come together, a group orientation. And then the first and the final evening, we come together with a group check-in. And then you also have individual time with me where we one-on-one work together, which really gives you that time to be very comfortable and go deeper, maybe even than you realized you wanted to or were ready to, which is really nice. We do that beforehand. We do a pre-cleanse call. Once you decide that you want to do this, we get that set up and we just start working together. And then we have a couple check-ins together during the cleanse. And then I help you just plot that course and plan that out for how you want to carry this on in your life. Even if it's one thing that shifts, like being more conscious about the times of the day that you nourish yourself, or being more conscious about your level of hydration, all the way to carrying some of these practices on through a week or 21 days or whatever you choose, whatever you decide. I work with you to help you decide what those things are. So it is a 4-day cleanse, but it really is a 40-day process where you're going to have this consciousness of this 40-day rhythm and cycle in your life. There's journaling that's part of it, which is a beautiful way of you just to reflect on how you're feeling, how you're doing with all of these things. Yeah, it's a really beautiful process. There's also meditation that I send to you. It's a beautiful guided meditation this time for the eve of the full moon, because we're working right up to a full moon, which is a cycle of completion in itself. And that's really a beautiful time to do a cleanse and complete one, is as the moon becomes full, you feel that fruition and that flow of prosperity in your life, as all of the universe is moving in that way too.
What I like about this cleanse is it's only 4 days.
Yeah.
I've done cleanses, like my first cleanses were like 2 weeks. It was just too much to take on, so this 4 days is just perfect. And tomorrow is my intake call with SatJiwan. So she had to fill out a whole form, about who I am, what I drink, what I do, everything. And tomorrow she's going to work with me on setting up my perfect cleanse for me. And so I really like that personal plan just for me, because you could look at the book and go, oh my gosh, this seems like a lot. But we don't have to do it all, this first cleanse, if it's your first one. So, and that's why also 4 days is perfect. It's not overwhelming.
I like to say if you do 10% more of any of the things that you're looking at on this list, even 10% of one thing, that you increase that, it's really very successful. So even if for 4 days you drank 10% more water, getting closer to that level of hydration, or had 10% more consciousness around your eating habits and how you're nurturing yourself, like that's such a win. So we look at the successes in this. That's really the lens that I love to look through, is looking at our successes, not paying much attention to, oh, I didn't do it this way, or, oh, I didn't get that thing in. Let's look more at the way that we are successful and how we're achieving those things, because that's what nurtures more of that in our life.
So you're not like cleaning your colon, you cleaning your digestion tract before this?
During this time, we're doing digestive and colon cleanse by what we're eating, and also the oilation routine. So we do a warm ghee oilation, which is part of a panchakarma routine, or the 5 points of dinacharya, or a daily routine that you do. So we take a warm ghee in increasing amounts every morning, and we actually eat that for input. And then we wait a minimum of a half an hour before we have any of our food. And that way that oil is going in, and it's really pulling out all of that unprocessed out of all of the cells and all of the tissues, and it's moving it through the system. And then on the final day, on the 4th day in the evening, we do a flush, which really flushes everything through the colon. And so, yes, we are working on cleaning the digestive tract by our oilation, and also by what we're eating, the high fiber mung beans and rice, and a really simple Ayurvedic diet with the Ayurvedic masala, which is the herb blend for the season that really lets everything get processed out. So yeah, it is a gentle but deep detoxing of the colon and the digestive tract.
It works so effortlessly. It's amazing, between the rice and the mung beans and the herbs. And then think about it, you're oiling inside and you're oiling outside. So your tissues are just getting everything out into the digestive tract through the mung beans and the rice, scrape it out from the inside out. And
So do you have this with like lemon or something, like oils with something else, or just oils?
So yeah, if you can have a little bit of something in the oil, if it's hard for you to take, you can put a little cinnamon there. You can add a little bit of milk in there, and it can be any kind of milk of your choice if it's hard for you to get the oil down. And we can talk about that. I also have that in my booklet, like a couple different options, so that if the straight ghee is not palatable for you, you just put a little cinnamon in there and a little bit of warm milk in there, and it goes down very nicely.
it does.
May I ask you
Yes.
to say more about the coordination with the moon?
Oh, sure. So we're doing this the 3 days before the full moon. We finish on that fourth day of the full moon, and the moon cycle between new moon and full moon. This is really the time to set intentions at the new moon and do new rhythms of things at the new moon, and then finishing by that 14th day of the full moon. And that full moon really creates that finish of the cycle, or that fruition of those intentions. And so it's really lovely to do a cleanse and finish on the full moon. It's nice to do if you're going to do a whole 14-day one, like Catherine was talking about. Start on the new moon, finish on the full moon. That's a beautiful cycle. If you do it longer, then you start on the full moon and go all the way around to right before the next. Start on the new moon and go all the way around to starting on, finishing right before the next full moon if you did a 28-day cycle. So this is a wonderful thing to start to get a relationship with, is the cycles of the moon. The moon controls every droplet of water on our planet. And whether it's outside of us or inside of us, all of that water is controlled by the cycles of the moon. So whether or not we have a relationship with it yet, or a conscious relationship with it, we do have a relationship with that rhythm. And so to have a consciousness on it and to really start to create and build that conscious relationship, it gives you a lot of insight into what your needs are, dietarily, nutritionally, hydrationally, also sleep-wise, mood-wise, all of these things. So this is why I like to do it with the cycles of the moon, because it really highlights a lot of the rhythms that are naturally happening.
And I imagine creates a sense of harmony with the universe.
Yes. Gets us right in that rhythm that we're really already in, but it lets us feel it in a more palpable way. And it's almost, I don't want to say easier, but it is in a state of relaxation, because you've got everything working with you to carry you into this time of completion. So really the universe is working for you in this way, which is nice.
And I was saying to SatJiwan, what could be better timing after the year we've all had? We really need a reboot. That's what
Really, if a cleansing ever was in order, it would be now.
Yes, that's how I feel. I am so ready for a reboot and a
And the thing is, you can start, it is 4 days that we're doing everything, or whatever you and I choose that everything means to you. But really, honestly, many that have signed up, because they've already had that intake meeting or that pre-cleanse meeting with them, they've started doing some of these things already. They've already started making khichdi sporadically to have a little bit of that. That's the mung bean and rice meal. Or they've started drinking the detox tea, or they've started having some of the detox fasts to just really prepare themselves. And that is so beautiful, because then you're so ready. You've done this stuff once or twice, or maybe more by the time we start. And so you just kind of glide right into the rhythm of it. So it's never too early to make that commitment and get our work started, because it is a lot of details. And even if you only add in 1 or 2 things, it's still extra, right? We do one different thing in our day. It takes our nervous system a good amount of energy to incorporate that in and let that become our new normal. So that's really a nice thing to give yourself too. Is
it sounds like it adds up to a nice balance of freedom and discipline.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well said.
Good karma student.
It's awesome. I love it.
Any other questions or thoughts about the cleanse at the end of April?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think so. Thank you so much.
You do it, it's look like online, but you give us a description and we are doing it home.
So you'll get the whole manual with all the details. But once you sign up, then SatJiwan emails you the intake form. You fill it out, and then she schedules your personal call to go through, get you ready for the kickoff. So there's a lot that has to happen. That's why you need to do it ahead of time, because on the 21st is the orientation and the cleanse starts on the 24th. So she's got a lot of phone calls and a lot of things to mail out to you and get to you. So we need you registered by April 14th at the very latest to prepare you. And you need to prepare. There's things you need to get, shopping and food and spices. And you don't want to rush.
No. And so some of it is online and some of it is at home. We have those group things. So like Catherine was mentioning, that orientation, that's a Zoom. It's an hour-and-a-half orientation from 7 to 8:30 Eastern time on the 21st. You would have needed a week before last signed up, so I can get your manual to you. We can have our pre-cleanse meeting before that. You know what you need to gather. But like I said, we don't have to wait till then. You could do it right now if you're ready to do it. Earlier is better. And then we have 2 check-ins that happen on Zoom during the cleanse. The first evening, which is the 24th, and that's, I'm pretty sure, 7 to, let's see, where are my papers? I think it's 7 to 7:30. Yes, 7 to 7:30. I don't want to say the wrong time. And that's on the 24th and the last day on the 28th. So those 2 happen online as well. I send you the yoga kriya that you practice every day, and I give you the link to that. So you do that when it works in your day the best. I encourage you to do it, on the morning side of your day, whatever that looks like. So that's getting you going. It's not going to be super hard. It's probably about a 20-minute kriya, but it's strong enough to get you moving, but not so much that if you're cleansing, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do that right now. So it's a nice, just even, good little get yourself moving kriya. And then I also do a recorded guided meditation that you'll probably, I send you that audio file, and you'll practice that in the evening when it works best for you as well each day. So it's half and half. It's kind of half online and half with me personally with those individual calls. And then I do a couple of healings that are group healings, but they're distant. So you just relax and be at ease. And I do an energetic healing on you, a Reiki style with a lot of different elements of sound and crystal vibrations and all that good stuff.
Isn't that nice? Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah, I'm doing Reiki also,
Yeah. So that's a lovely little cherry on the top. That's always very nice as well.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you very much. It sounds very interesting, approaching purity and cleansing from so many different points of view.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not able to do it this month, but I will certainly consider it for the future.
Wonderful. Catherine and I were just talking, we're going to do it again in the fall. So you can look for that.
Okay.
And maybe that can work out for you right away. Nice.
Thank you.
Yes, spring and fall is the time to do your cleansing. And I have my Monday, my regular breath and meditation class at 9:30 on Mondays. I'm going to have that one be special part of the cleanse on Monday, the 26th. So we'll be, anybody that's cleansing too, we're going to be practicing together practices that will support our cleansing.
So, but you can work. It is look like it's not mess up your routine.
No, you can absolutely.
Just you add in the morning a certain like rituals and in the evening, yeah?
Yeah, you'll do some morning practices, oilation in and out. You'd have, breaking your fast in a very healthy way. And then you'll have the tea a detox tea that's very gentle that you drink throughout the day. And you can absolutely go about your day doing your work, anything you need to. You have a healthy lunch that's on the diet that you choose, mainly khichdi. You can add vegetables in, or fruits can be added into this diet if that's what we decide is best for you. And then you have an evening routine as well that you do. But yeah, it's very easy to do this and still meet your commitments of the day as well. It's absolutely doable.
Yeah. Well, thank
So
you.
you don't
Thank
go
you so very
days
much
with
for
no
this.
food, yeah?
Mhm.
It is all time like some food in your body.
Leanne, will you start your question again? I think there was some over talking. I didn't catch all of that. Can you ask again?
That look like we will not have a days with no food, like fasting.
Oh,
No.
no.
Like
You can do, so what I will encourage, if you like to do that, like intermittent fasting, that's very much a technique. Now that's what it's called, but really with Ayurveda, it's your circadian rhythm. And so the fasting time is the time at sunset all the way until after sunrise. So like that's your fasting time, that you're just hydrating during that time. So we'll work at individually. What is your circadian rhythm? What does that look like for you? But there's no day where you will have no food. That's not the way this cleanse is. We need the fiber, even if it's a short window. Even if you're like, well, I'm a 20-hour faster, that's fine. And you have a 4-hour window where that's where you consume what you're having. That's perfect. But we have some time with fiber so that we can move those toxins out.
Okay.
So that, I hope that answered that.
Great. So SatJiwan will just follow up with you. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to her. And thanks for hopping on today.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Bye.